Well. What's up, everybody? We are repping the NFC West. The entire division is in my hands tonight. We got the Cardinals, we got the Rams, we got the Seattle Seahawks, and we got your boys' beloved San Francisco 49ers. I want to welcome my guy, James Gonzalez, who he's got a Raider hat on for the first time. But yeah, James, we're doing double day today here on our 8 divisions and 8 days preview special. We're doing the AFC West and the NFC West. We're diving into what is going to be a wild West. And it's going to be a lot of fun. But James, this is your first time doing our 8 divisions in 8 days preview special, my friend. How are you doing tonight?
Hopefully the last time too. I'm just kidding. It's funny how I could pick one team and you've got all four represented back there. Um, God, you must not have a budget. But yeah, I'm excited because I think we have two similar divisions in this case. Follow me real quick. Walk through the park. Walk through the desert since we're in the west. Walk down the coast. Pause. Um, we have two of the most questionable divisions in talent that the teams have. And we have players, we have teams, we have coaches that are really out to prove something for each team that we're gonna all 8 teams that we're gonna talk about tonight and where they're gonna end up. But all of them have something to prove, and all of them have so many questions on all of them. And we'll run through them as we predict where they're going to end up, either first place, last place, wild card, third place. But yeah, it's the two questionable divisions, other from maybe the AFC North. We don't really know about the NFC South. That should be a fun show, wouldn't it? But yeah, it's the most questionable, and there's a lot of hype surrounding all 8 teams. Let's just say that. But hopefully, we'll debunk most of it tonight.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait. Like I said, this is double day. So we're doing not just one division, but we're doing 2 divisions today. So it's going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, if you guys like what you guys are seeing, not just tonight, but it's in this entire series, go ahead and give us a like, a subscribe. You can also give me and James a follow on whatever social media platform that you're on, because
You want me to say mine?
I'm pretty sure. What's that?
You want me to say mine real quick?
Yeah. Go say
Okay, so
yours.
on Instagram, if you care, it's usually I put it on too, but it's James Session 89, and then you find me on the Chair with James Gonzalez. I do food reviews, sports takes. Find me on Halos in the Infield, covering that awful baseball team who lost 20-3 tonight against Texas. The Angels there and all the BS they come with. What else? Yeah, check out my eBay store, JPG. No, I'm sorry, JG8910. I got like Raider stuff among other things. Uh, maybe maybe some 49er gear coming. Who knows? But I always got something going on while working. But
He does. Yep.
that's all I got. That's all I got for you to follow me on as of now.
That's what he gave me back in the day.
Oh God, that's right.
You remember this?
Do you
This
even wear
deodorant?
that?
I do. As like to troll my Niner friends.
That's just
It does.
weird. Why you do that? You're like one of those YouTube like trolling people that go around like that snark guy, like snarf guy, like trying to
Oh my
troll
god.
and mess up with people's fan bases and get into verbal fights and stuff.
Well, it is a nice jersey though. I do like the
It's a
see.
shirt, but yeah.
Yeah, or the
It
shirt.
was rarely worn. Like I didn't wear it. I got it from a friend, and they're like, "Hey, I don't want to see this anymore. You could sell it." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Well, you know what's funny though is that I could literally, before we get to the previews, is that I could literally tape up the Wilson part because let's face it, he's
Drew
washed,
Lock.
and I could put Drew Lock. Yeah, I really could. But um, appreciate James for that gift right there. But yeah, you guys can follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you name it. But guys, let's get into why you guys are tuning in for this show, which is our preview of the NFC West and the AFC West. And for that, I'm going to give it over to my left hand side, and that is James Gonzalez to take over this show. And we're going to start off with the NFC West.
Yes, pass the duchy upon the left hand side. So let's get to the West Coast, the left coast, and the best coast of football teams. And we'll start off with the NFC West, our preview and predictions. It's gonna be hopefully wild, but it might be disappointing. For many teams. That I would think so. I guess we'll start off with my predictions. We'll run through why I should say. But for last place, I have the Arizona Cardinals. I I don't see anything that tells me they're going to make that step forward. But they really need to. Like they really need to show something. Kyler Murray especially. If he and Dorchett, Greg Dortch, Marvin Harrison Jr. especially, you saw at the end of like last year, half of last year, the last half of last year, him and Marvin Harrison Jr. really connected. Like Harrison Jr. is putting up some good games, but Trey McBride is a great tight end that they have. I think he got extension recently, and he's gonna ball out. You know that they have a young and fun defense. You know, it all starts out with Buda Baker, and then they got Josh Sweat in the off season. But up front, man, it all comes down with Calais Campbell coming back. You know, that was a big get there. Will Johnson as well, the rookie out of Michigan. I'm gonna be looking at him too there. But again, this team, if they overachieve, it's gonna be great. But I just don't see it. Maybe Campbell can instill some of his, leadership, veteran leadership there. But their defense going to be young and fun. But again, it comes down to Kyler Murray. If he could stay healthy, but if he could limit his mistakes, not turn over the ball, I think they have a shot to be, you know, decent, but not moving any heads. All right, so that's my last place team in the NFC West, Arizona. My third place team, and here's where it gets crazy. I have the Seattle Seahawks in third. And I'll tell you this much why. Geno Smith isn't walking through that door. Instead, ugh, he's in Las Vegas. But hey, if he's there just, throwing some touchdowns, whatever the case is, that'll be fine. But Sam Darnold signed a big ass deal, remember, with Seattle in the offseason. Basically, it's the Geno Smith deal all over again, right? Where it's a multi-year deal, but it's like one off. And so Sam, he had a great season with Minnesota. He had all the weapons you could want, right? And with the Vikings, JJ, Addison, Hawkinson, KG Osborne, I think, as well. But there was the last two games that just left a bad taste in your mouth, right? For Sam Darnold. The Week 18 game to see who would win the North, NFC North, was bad in Detroit. And then you had the playoff game in Arizona against the Los Angeles Rams. Oh, yeah, Osborne was a Patriot, and I think he just got cut, by the way, from someone out there. So thank you, Isaiah. I should know that, but um, well, they need him now with all the injuries in Minnesota. Maybe there'll be a reunion. Oh no, Adam Thielen's there. Never mind. But anyway, Sam Darnold did not end the year well against the Rams. He had a horrible playoff game, and still Seattle went out and they kind of panicked and went out and got him. He's got a lot to prove. He's only 28, but it's felt like he's been in the league 15 years. It's only been 8 years out of USC. But man, if he is able just to lob the ball up, I think he'll be fine. The thing is, he'll make some of those reads over the middle, and he doesn't see the safeties there. And that's going to be kind of the problem, I think, in a great division of defense, right? Now, I see a scenario, Isaiah, where all three quarterbacks start this season for Seattle at one point. I really, really do. Drew Lock, he's the same age as Sam Darnold. He can really air it out. He can be wild at times though. Jalen Murrow is the rookie. They gave him a contract. Eventually, he's going to be their starter in the future. He's going to add another, level to what they haven't really had since Russell Wilson was younger, which is a running quarterback, but also throw. He did have kind of a shaky preseason, though, so that was kind of unfortunate for Seattle. Now you look at the running backs, right? Who are you going to start? Kenneth Walker the third, or are you going to rely on Zach Charbonnet out of UCLA, who had a great second year out of UCLA? It's going to be interesting, the dynamic between those two, and who's going to start. They did get Cooper Kupp, and that's going to look weird. Him going back home. He played at Eastern Washington. They have Jackson Smith Najee there as well, and Jake Bobo again out of UCLA. They find these. They had a great draft back in 2022, I think, and it kind of rivals a little bit their 2012 draft, but not as much. But yeah, they have some people to throw to. Like, Darnold can rely on Cooper Kupp as long as he's healthy, but go up top to Jackson Smith and Jiba. So they have the people there to make it happen. But I think it all goes on the arm of Sam Darnold and what he does well and what he doesn't do well. Defense, you got DeMarcus Lawrence, Leonard Williams, Byron Murphy up front, Jaron Reed, who's still there after all these years. This will be his 10th year there, by the way. Secondary is still pretty young, but Julian Love is there. Kobe Bryant, Woolen, Weatherspoon. It's all really guys you can really look to and say they're going to anchor that defense. But again, I think Sam's going to put him in some issues there, and that's why I have him in third. Okay, Isaiah, get ready. The San Francisco 49ers will be my second place team. I feel like last year you could just throw out the window, of all the injuries that happened, which was a ton, by the way. It was something to forget if you're a Niner fan, right? But Brock Purdy's going to be back. He's going to be fine. He's backed up by Mac Jones. I think you told the story the other day about how you didn't want Mac Jones. You didn't want to draft Mac. You didn't want the Niners to draft Mac Jones.
Not
and
at
here
all.
he is. What was it in 21? Yeah, or no, in 2020, I think he was drafted.
Was it 21 or was it 2020?
It says 5-year experience. Yeah, I think it was 21.
Probably 21 then.
Yeah. I'm worried
James,
about. Yeah.
I want to say this. Mac Jones on the Niners proved the point that I've said for years, that is that Kyle Shanahan originally wanted Mac Jones, but based on the pressure and of the organization, he was forced to take Trey Lance. But Trey Lance was never his guy, because if you look at Shanahan's track record with quarterbacks, right? Like it's always been those pocket passers, quarterbacks. He never really worked with like a mobile quarterback when he is able to choose his quarterback. In Cleveland, he worked with Johnny Manziel for 1 year. He quit the Cleveland Browns. And then with the Redskins at that time, he had RG3, but it was basically the owner went over the head of Mike Shanahan and put off that trade for RG3. But Mike Shanahan and Kyle Shanahan both have said that they never wanted RG3. They just had to make it work because they made that, that humongous trade. But I, for the longest period of time, have said that Shanahan never wanted Trey Lance. He wanted Mac Jones. That was the guy. But like when you trade all those picks, you can't get someone that's like the same as Jimmy Garoppolo, James, or else like the entire organization will and the entire organization will really just revolt. So, but this is proof right here. This is living proof that Kyle Shanahan never wanted never wanted Trey Lance.
Yeah, it was awkward when they got together at midfield after the third preseason game against the Chargers. They had like a smile and a handshake, and oh, this is awkward. Looking at the running back core, Christian McCaffrey coming off the injury last year. Really don't know what you're going to get out of him. That's why they went out and traded for Brian Robinson Jr. You also have Jordan James and then Isaac Guerrero, who really showed up last year, I think, in time. They also traded for Sky Moore, I think, from the Chiefs. And then they have Jawan Jennings at receiver, who really balled out with the absence of Ayuk. But now Jennings, I think, wants some money eventually. Ricky Pearsall, with his incident at the beginning of last year, coming back. Demarcus Robinson, I think, will miss the first 4 game suspension, I want to say. And then you have Brandon Ayuk, that is will miss the first 4 games. He's on the PUP list as well. So there's a lot of questions about the receiving core. And Jennings, I think, will miss time with the calf strain, I want to say, correct? Right? I forget who it is.
Yeah,
but
Jennings has a
yeah.
calf strain. It's been an injury that's been like very, very weird. It's been kind of like downplayed, and then some days they don't downplay it. They just keep it in secret. But I just think, James, that Jennings injury, like I think it's more of him not wanting to risk even playing on it just because he wants that new deal. Remember, he's a year away from free agency, and with these calf injuries, like they're very, very tough. And they can get re-injured very easily, and even worse, they are a ticking time bomb for torn Achilles. Like when you have a calf strain, it's like you better take care of that, because if you don't, that is a ticking time bomb for a torn Achilles. And if you just suffer a torn Achilles, your career it's not done, but all your athleticism and
You'll
star
miss
power.
a year.
Yeah, you miss
and
a year.
then
So
you're not the same.
And that's why I think like Jennings doesn't want to play on it just to risk it. Niners need him to play, but they know that it's not as bad, but they need him out there. But so it's kind of like a wait and see right now, and it's basically to see like who will ultimately blink.
Okay, so at tight end, you got George Kittle still, and he just read up among others. But Luke Farrell they got from the Jaguars. So your tight ends are pretty solid with Tongs there. Pretty good offensive line. Trent Williams there anchoring it. The defense, Nick Bosa's still there. I think he's still the 5th highest paid lineman out there, with everybody getting paid. Bryce Huff coming there will be something. And Mikael Williams, the rookie out of Georgia, man, I'm excited to see how he plays. He's been looking good in training camp. Alfred Collins. You still have the leadership of Fred Warner. D. Winters is there. Lenore anchoring the secondary there, along with Jair Brown. You still have the one question that I have, though: will Jake Moody lose you some games? In preseason he's been a little shaky, and the fans. I remember the game in Vegas against the Raiders. They were all game long. It was just crazy. So they have the talent to do it, but the injuries, if any, are gonna bug the talents of the 49ers. Now, I have the Los Angeles Rams in first. You can ram it all day, you can ram it all night. The thing is, though, it all comes down to Matthew Stafford. Now, 2 days ago, I read that Sean McVay is basically saying the same things, where um, he's been asked the same question, by countless reporters. And this is a time of year where you're mentioning like the 49ers, right? They're trying to keep things secret somehow. And basically saying, hey, we're tracking his progress and he's making steps, the forward steps every day. And barring any setback, he should be ready to go against Houston week 1. But time is ticking. You know, you saw him out there, I think, last week throwing some passes. But the back at 37 years old, you're just worried about him getting hit, from behind, whatever the case is. You're worried about the landing if he gets hit from the front. They got Jimmy Garofalo. They got Stetson Bennett, and dude has been lighting it up in preseason. Uh, I don't know if that really means anything, but that will be surely some crazy second string competition there. And I say this as a precaution. If Stafford isn't ready, I'm just putting, like you would do, where you're putting like relationships together, connections together, right? Okay. If Matthew Stafford is, let's say he hurts his back, he gets hit, and he's out for the rest of the season from week 2 or 3, there's somebody in Atlanta not starting for the Falcons anymore. And remember, Sean McVay has that relationship from Washington with Kirk Cousins all the year where he kept getting franchise tagged. Maybe if the Rams want to do it, they would trade for Kirk Cousins and really go for it this year. We'll see if that's a possibility again with Stafford, but maybe he doesn't start the season right away. Maybe we'll see about that. But running backs, hey, you got Kyron Williams who, re-upped again, and he's been awesome this year. If you're, playing fantasy, he's going to be a big, big player, I think, in that list. Some good backups too. Blake Corum from Michigan. Wide receiving core though, man. There's a new number 17 in town. It's Devontae Adams, 2-year deal with the Rams. Puka Nacua got number 12. It's going to be fun watching those two go to work if you're a Ram fan. It just depends who's throwing the ball to them, Tutu Atwell's there, and he makes some great plays downfield. He's a speedster there. Other from that, though, it's like, the wide receivers for the 4 spot. It's going to be interesting. Tyler Higbee is still there after all these years. This is 10th year at tight end. Offensive line, it's a little bit younger, but you still have Rob Havenstein there, and they got DJ Humphreys in there as well. Both are going into their 11th year, so they're going to get some young guys in there to do well. And their defense, again, young, really good, led the way. If the offense wasn't clicking, led them to that divisional game, I believe. Yeah, divisional game in snowy Philly where they lost. But I think people had them not even making the playoffs last year. But Kobe Turner at front, Puna Ford, Brandon Fisk has turned into an awesome player. Linebacking core, it starts with, I think, Jared Verse and Byron Young and Kobe Durant. I think the thing for me though, when you talk about their their secondary, that's going to be kind of a question mark for them. They have a real young secondary, but hopefully the veterans show up of the secondary. We'll see if that's going to be the case, but I have the Rams in first if Stafford actually plays. That's a big if, and it's just weird because remember, Isaiah, we went through this last year where he got the surgery done. and he went out and he was doing everything for him. And you just hope that's still there if you're a Ram fan. If not, um, this could be the end, honestly, for the Rams if they can't, if Stafford can't play. So I think he's the most important player in that division that we're talking about. It's Matthew Stafford. If he plays or not, he controls the division, in my opinion. Okay, Isaiah, how do you see the NFC West going from last to first? And we know you're a Niner fan, but we know you have all of the teams represented. I'm scared to know which direction you'll go.
Yeah, I wish I could have my camera turned on the entire time so that I could put up the mascots heads like Lee
It's
Corso does
okay.
with gear. But yeah,
We've seen it.
but I think like you said, I think that this is gonna be a pretty competitive division. I think all four teams did somewhat improve their teams this year. But let's start with last place. I actually think, James, for last place, I'm going to go with the Seattle Seahawks. I think that their defense is still pretty leaky. They got Sam
No doubt.
Darnold, but yeah, Sam Darnold has only had one good year as a quarterback in the NFL. He hasn't, and that was with Minnesota. Besides that, he's been an absolute disaster. And now he doesn't have Justin Jefferson. He doesn't have Hawkinson. He doesn't have Aaron Jones running the football and Kevin O'Connell calling the plays. Instead, it's gonna be I think it's Clint Kubiak, former Broncos offensive coordinator, and Niners quarterbacks coach, calling the plays for him. He's going to be running a poor version of the Shanahan offense, which, yes, he did thrive in, but you don't have the weapons now. Can Jackson Smith and Jigba be that number one receiver? We'll see. But he hasn't really, he's been a good 2 or 3 wide receiver, but he right now, he just I don't know if I trust him to be that number one wide receiver there in Seattle. The Seattle Seahawks, their offensive line still has some question marks. That's kind of been like the issue for Seattle the last 8 to 9 years, even during the Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll days. Running game. Like you said, who are you going to start at the running back position? Are you going to start Kenneth Walker? I mean, he's an absolute beast, but he was injured a lot last season. The tight end spot is also a question. You have, I believe, Jake Bobo. Is that their starting tight end, Jake
No, he's
Bobo?
a receiver.
Oh, he's a receiver.
Let me get that.
But yeah, you look at the receivers. DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett are no longer there in Seattle, which is going to be a huge. It's going to be weird not seeing them in Seattle. They did add Cooper Cup, like you mentioned, Taylor. They added Demarcus Lawrence, which was one of their top additions this season or this off season. But a lot of these additions, you look at it like Cooper Cup. How is he going to be? The last few years he hasn't been that ultra superstar dynamic wide receiver that we've seen in the past before all the injuries. Demarcus Lawrence, another guy that's like he was good before in the past, but a lot of these injuries have robbed him of his athleticism and he's always hurt. So I got the Seahawks in last, James. I think that
Okay. Oh, Seattle, by the way, their tight end room. I think they got Eric Saubert. He's eighth
Saubert,
year
yes.
man. AJ Bonner, the second year guy out of Michigan. And then they have a couple rookies, Nick Collerup from Minnesota, and then Elijah Royal, the rookie out of Miami. Um, man, again, it's a it's going to be a competition, but I think they're going to rely on their tight ends to block for the running game.
No, I agree with you. I think that with Seattle, it's just like with this roster, I feel like they're kind of like teetering on the brink of we want to do just enough to compete, but not be a Super Bowl contender. But we also don't have the talent, like I said, to be able to compete for a Super Bowl. But we don't want
Isaiah,
to
look at
rebuild.
who they lost this year. or in the
Yeah.
offseason. It is wild to think about
Yeah.
that. Geno
D-
Smith,
Geno
DK
Smith.
Metcalf was traded to Pittsburgh,
Yep.
and
Yep.
then Tyler Lockett, I think, is still a free agent out there, I want to say.
Titans, actually.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Well, that's a step away from, being a free agent.
Yeah, pretty
Um,
much.
but like you're dynamic players offensively, and that's why I have so many questions about them. I take a look at them and just say, they got to show it, but they
Yeah.
won't be as explosive as last year. I can tell you that much.
Well, and then with Darnold, it's like with Minnesota, he was so good because Kevin O'Connell was one of the best offensive coaches in the game. They had really good weapons with Justin Jefferson and Hawkinson and all those guys. Their offensive line was one of the best in the NFL, so he had time to throw the football. But now in Seattle, you're moving into a totally opposite situation. So I think the real Darnold is going to show up. In fact, James, you can book this right now. I think Drew Lock is going to be the starting quarterback of the Seattle Seahawks by week 3. Like, I just don't think that Darnold, I think in training camp was struggling. In the spring, he was struggling. So I just think that, I know they give him a big deal, but when you start throwing pick after pick after pick, there's just like enough leeway for you before you have to get before you go. So I think
And
Drew
then
Lock,
wait. Let me follow you on that though.
yes.
And then by whatever their bye week is, it'll be Jalen Monroe after week 12 starting.
Well, yeah, look at their schedule. They have San Francisco in Seattle to open the season. Then they have at Pittsburgh, which is an absolute tough place to play. New Orleans comes to town, which should be an easy win. But then you have at Arizona, Tampa Bay, at an improved Jacksonville team, and Houston before you're on your bye week. Like,
By the way,
out of
they play the what NFC South or
NFC South, yep.
AFC South and NFC South. So this division gets a pretty favorable schedule. I think even the 49ers have the weakest schedule out of all of them.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why, like, I think with Seattle, I could see Sam Darnold honestly being benched by the time that Jacksonville game hits because you look
I
at San
I don't
Francisco,
doubt
tough,
that.
tough defense, Pittsburgh, tough defense, New Orleans, they're crap. So that's going to be an easy win. Arizona's got a pretty underrated defense. Tampa Bay, Jacksonville, Houston. I could see the Seahawks falling apart from there. I
Hmm.
think defensively they'll be okay because Mike McDonald is a really good defensive mind. So he'll be able to, try to work some magic with that defense. But if you can't score, like, you're gonna be, you're gonna not be able to win a lot of football games that way. So I got Seattle in fourth. I think Jalen Milroe, James. To be honest, I don't really like that pick because I think that he's a guy that is a project. Like, he's a guy that can't throw. He's a really athletic runner. He's kind of like the poor man Lamar Jackson, but it took Lamar what 4 or 5 years to be able to finally throw the
Stay in the
ball.
pocket and throw and run
Yeah,
when you really,
yeah.
really need to, but he's so explosive that he lets it happen. But he had to have the right offensive coordinator there too, though.
True, true. And I don't know if Clint Kubiak is that guy because he, didn't really do a lot with Drew Lock in Denver after Gary or after I think Vic Fangio was there. Um yeah, I just think Seattle, so many question marks from quarterback, offensive line, running back, wide receivers, tight ends. The weapons suck there in Seattle defensively. There's a lot of question marks there too. So I got to put them in last place. James, my third place team, believe it or not, is actually going to be the Los Angeles Rams. And the reason being is because I don't trust Matthew Stafford to stay healthy. Like, I think that one hit to the back, and I think he might be gone for the season. And
Mm,
I look at what the Rams, did in the offseason. They got Devontae Adams, Kyron Williams. He's an absolute monster. He's going to be running the football for the Rams. They still have Puka Nakua, but the Rams, the quarterback situation is a major, major question mark. The Rams, they did lose, Bobby Brown and Jonah Jackson. So that offensive line is kind of an issue for the Rams as well. They got Puna Ford, I believe, from the Chargers, as well as Devontae Adams, like I mentioned earlier. But offensive line is a question mark. Quarterback, one hit, and he might be out for the year. I just don't trust Matthew Stafford to stay healthy. I think the defense will be okay. Like I think a lot of them, like a lot of those young players, underachieved last year. We'll see how they go. This year, will they have a sophomore slump? I don't know, but if you have to rely on potentially Jimmy Garoppolo, you and I both are familiar with Jimmy Garoppolo's game, right? Like you're a Raider fan,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Niner fan. Like we both know, Jimmy Garoppolo he's not good at all, and he's not like bad, but he's not good. And if you have to rely on him to help save your season, or potentially like a washed up Kirk Cousins, I just don't know, like, if you can beat a team like San Francisco or even Arizona with that. And their schedule's pretty tough too. They open up with Houston, then they got at Tennessee, which is not that tough, but then they have at Philly, Indianapolis comes in, but then they have San Francisco, at Baltimore, and an improved Jacksonville team before their bye week. But I just think for the Rams, I cannot rely on Stafford's health. I know McVay is great, but the Stafford injury really alarms me right now. James, is Stafford even back at practice yet? Like,
Yeah, he's back at practice, but they are continuing to tell anybody asking about him, though, the same thing that I mentioned. Hey, he's out there, and he is leaning toward, progressing toward, playing week 1 against Houston, unless there's a setback. But barring a setback, he should be out there. That's what I keep hearing and seeing, and that's all you can do. I mean, as
right.
a coach or as a organization, you don't want to give anything out there. You don't give any, anybody hints or whatever for week 1 game, and also you get pissed off about it. People keep asking and festering about it too.
Yeah, no, that's right. So that's why I'm gonna go with the Rams in third. I think that Stafford injury is gonna linger through all year. Number two, the Arizona Cardinals, and I think, look,
Wow,
I'm probably higher than on them than you are. I know you have them in what, third place? I think it was.
last.
Oh, you have them in last. Wow. But yeah, I have them in third. Kyler Murray, another year removed from that ACL injury. Last year he did pretty well. With Marvin Harrison being that rookie, and also Trace McBride or Trey McBride as well. Um, for the Cardinals, it's never been the offense; it's about the defense, and they finally did what I thought they should have done to address it. They've got those pass rushers now with Josh Sweat. They have Calais Campbell back, like we talked about early in the show. Like that's a fun story for the Cardinals. So I think the pass rush will be a lot better in Jonathan Gannon's defense. The linebackers, are pretty solid. They were pretty solid last year, with Zaven Collins and Brandon Browning and Ojolari, the guy that the Giants had, that from Georgia, but he flamed out. He went to Arizona. He's going to be a rebuilding project for them. And then the secondary, you've got Buda Baker, one of the best safeties in the NFL.
And I'm
So
surprised he even stayed with the Cardinals. Remember all that one off season, that 1 year, I think like 2 years ago before he got paid, he was on his way out. He did not want to be there. All of a sudden he gets
no,
paid and he's like, all right, I'll just try to anchor this young defense. And he's doing a great job, leadership and playing by example too.
he just wanted the money, James. Come on, man. Like
That's
that's
what's
the only
going
reason.
on with Hendrickson, with Mike. Well, not Michael Parsons, but who's the other guy who held out and got his money recently?
Oh,
Hendrickson and
Hendrickson.
I
Um,
forget, but it's just a thing people do where it's like, oh, the like it happened with Kyler Murray. Remember where he unfollowed the Cardinals on all the social media platforms. He turned into Call of Duty. Is there a new Call of Duty this year coming out? I think there is.
oh,
So
that's
we have
right.
to look out for that whenever Kyler Murray, what week they play.
Well, and then also like when you look at the Cardinals, right? Paris Johnson, who was a really good draft pick, he's gonna have another year. James Conner, he's an absolute monster. He had 8 touchdowns last year and still ran for 1,000 yards despite missing a couple of games. I think the Cardinals. Marvin Harrison had 8 touchdowns. Wow, I didn't even know that. I thought he was struggling last year because a lot of people were
No, he
talking about
did struggle at the beginning
at
because
the
they
beginning.
were not throwing the ball to him. And then finally the last part of last year, they were really in sync. I mean, he was really doing well down the sideline over the middle. It was really fun to watch. And again, you just hope that that connection keeps building up and up and up, and then those expectations go up higher because you got a passing duo that you can't stop
Right, right.
along with McBride, who's just taking on the world and he's doing great as well.
Yeah, like so I think the Cardinals, their offense, they finally have the defense which is competent enough to support that offense. So I'm gonna go with the Cardinals at number 2. And then last but not least, and this is not a biased pick, my friend. This is not a biased pick at all for all
Uh,
the reasons. Give me my San Francisco 49ers as the number 1 team and the winner of the
okay.
NFC West. Look, you might think I'm crazy for saying this, but here's why. Brock Purdy, another year, he got paid, so he's going to be out to try to validate the Niners for giving him that massive contract. Christian McCaffrey is back. He looks fresher than he has in the past, according to Kyle Shanahan. They made one of the most shrewd moves in the entire offseason just a couple of days ago, and that is getting Brian Robinson from the Washington Commanders. I don't know why the Washington Commanders
Me neither.
wanted.
That's what I was gonna ask you.
Yeah, like I don't get it. Like he was their starting running back
Maybe
last season.
maybe they're relying on the younger running backs and they were
Y-
giving more reps to them and knowing that eventually Robinson's time was gonna want to give. Oh, Terry McLaurin was the other player that finally got paid
Right,
after
Terry
like.
McLaurin. That's right.
Yeah, so I don't think they wanted to go through that with Robinson and plus being a running back. I just don't think they wanted to do that again. That's all I could think of.
And no, Taylor, the Niners didn't give up Debo for Robinson. I think Debo was a separate trade, if
No,
I'm
but
not.
when you think about it now,
Yeah,
it's an even get right there for each.
yeah. Cause well, both got like were obtained for 6th round picks, I think. And
Wow.
let me just say this about the whole
Ouch.
like the Niners thing. Everybody talks about the Niners moving on from Debo and all the players they moved off of. A lot of these players, you guys got to keep in mind, they were washed up. Like Debo Samuel was a shell of himself last year. Like he kept dropping passes after passes after passes. You guys all remember like when the Niners used to run Debo Samuel, like when they gave Debo Samuel the ball as a running back, and he would just like be able to truck everybody and be able to run through people and run past people. The last couple of years, Debo Samuel, by the way, James, the last couple of years, he's averaged in carries, he's averaged 1 yard per carry. So he can't run, doesn't have the foot speed anymore. So I'm kind of glad the Niners moved off from Debo Samuel. I think that Ayuk, he's been hurt. That contract is an absolute albatross. I don't know why they gave that to him. Ricky Pearsall now is your number 1 receiver, and he did big things down the stretch as well. So he's going to have a bigger opportunity. Like you mentioned with Jennings, he has got that calf injury. I honestly don't know if you're going to see him out there on the field until like he is quote unquote 100% because he's not trying to risk that injury. He's trying to get paid. He knows if he goes out there and plays that the likelihood of him tearing an Achilles is very high. So I don't think you're going to see him until like halfway through the season. They did sign, by the way, James, Marquise Valdez Scantling.
Oh yikes.
Yeah, they signed him today. They signed Russell Gage, the former Falcon. And I think they also signed, if I'm not mistaken, Robbie Anderson or Robbie
Oh, he's
Chosen.
on the practice squad now. After
He's
they
on the
cut him,
practice squad.
he decided to go there.
Yep. So they do have these old like receivers that used to be like big time players, but now they're on our team. So we'll see how they do. But I think for the Niners, it's just offensive line, it's going to be. The O line has been very mid the last, like, in Shanahan's tenure. And this is the problem with Shanahan is like, dude, the guy literally invests in defensive line, but our main issue is always offensive line. Purdy or any quarterback we've had never really has a lot of time to throw the football. Our quarterbacks are always running for their lives. That's why they're always getting hurt. So we'll see how they do this year. Defensive line, I know they have a lot of young players like Michael Williams and Alfred Collins and CJ West, a third round pick from Indiana. It's going to take some time for those guys to, be able to dominate in the NFL. Like, if you're expecting them to come in and dominate right away, like, you're out of your mind. That's why, like, getting Bryce Huff, I think, was a huge deal for the Niners, to get an established pass rusher opposite of Bosa and let those young kids come in and grow. And then special teams like Jake Moody, I just think, like, the guy he has a confidence issue. I'll say that. And I think
Yeah.
that,
All of his kicks decide to go to the left at the worst
yes,
time.
yes. Well, I still don't know if they're going to keep him as the kicker because
Yeah, they
remember the
will
Browns.
until if he loses games half of the
Yes.
way and they got a shot to win this year, then they're gonna have to go to another kicker. The one thing I want to mention really quick about the Niners, I forgot to mention, but I will
Go
now.
ahead.
They have Gus Bradley, but they have Robert Saleh back
Robert
as
Saleh.
their DC, and that's only going to make him better defensively through all the young people that they have now.
Yeah. Saleh's a great mind. So it's great that he's back with Shanahan to run the off. Shanahan's running the offense. Saleh's running the defense. But yeah, I think with all the players coming back, I think with the young players, the revamped coaching staff, I think that the Niners are ultimately gonna surprise a lot of people and win this division this year. And look, people don't realize this. We have the easiest schedule in the NFL. Like, I'll name you
Thank you,
some of the.
NFL.
Yes, thank
Jesus,
you. But we have the easiest schedule. Like, look at this schedule. You have at Seattle to open the season, and then you have
that's going to be
at New
fun.
Orleans, with the Saints and Spencer Rattler there. Maybe Tyler Show
Yay.
comes in, who knows? Yeah. And then you have Arizona, Jacksonville. I don't think Jacksonville will be as bad as they were last year, but I still think that the Niners are better than them. At the Rams, which, that's going to be a tough test,
A
but
home game for the Niners.
a home game for the Niners. Yep. And the Niners always own the Rams. Tampa Bay, which that's a tough one. That could be a loss right there. But then you look at it, Atlanta and Houston after that, which should be, like, they're not easy, but they're not that difficult. Then you have at New York Giants, LA Rams, and then Arizona in Arizona. But James, look at who the Niners finish up with. At Cleveland, and maybe Shador Sanders, Dylan Gabriel, Joe Flacco, Bailey Zappi, maybe, who knows? He's on the Browns now for some reason. Then you have Tennessee, at Indianapolis,
Yikes.
Chicago, and Seattle. Like,
oh, man.
yeah, so I think the Niners, like, if Shanahan doesn't make the playoffs with this schedule, yeah, I will second that he should be fired. But if he's got to make the playoffs with this schedule. So with this schedule and all the young talent, like I said, and the Rams injury issues, and the Cardinals, I feel like being on the up and coming, but not quite there yet. Seattle, and I think Darnold's going to be crap. I got the Niners winning the division in the NFC West.
Wow. Obviously, again, there's going to be a lot of question marks for all four teams. You want to read the comments before we go to the AFC East?
Yeah. We have a lot of
or
comments.
West. I'm sorry, AFC West.
Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Start with our guy Taylor Sean Ogata. He says Seattle also acquired former Ram Cooper Kupp. That was one of their acquisitions this offseason. He says that Taylor also says that Jackson Smith and Jegba are two key receivers. You have a guy that's, I don't know, James, is Cooper Kupp
opposites of each other, because you have Cooper Kupp, who likes to go over the middle, makes the third down catches. JSN goes deep and over the, down the middle of the field on those hot routes or whatever. So they're a tale of two different receivers. But I don't. It's just Cooper Cup. He's got to remain healthy, and
Yep.
this kind of feels like his last chance. I mean, if the Rams, who give up on you, um, make that happen, then you have to imagine like everybody else is gonna take a look at you, but they're not gonna look at you the same. But Cooper
True.
Cup should be great though for the locker room. He should be great for the wide receiver room. With all the young receivers they have, Bozo there as well. Um, Funny name, Bobo. Excuse me, Bobo. Big Bobo.
Did you just call him Bozo?
Yeah, I have a clown on my mind for some reason, but yeah, Jake Bobo. Um, he could show up to some games. He might get left open if all the other two are playing, of course. But Cup, hopefully he stays healthy throughout the year. But you got to wonder who can get him the ball in those third down situations. Third and
Yeah,
Cup.
that's right. He'll
And
be
it's gonna
good
be
on third
weird
down.
seeing him in another uniform other from the Los Angeles Rams.
Honestly, dude, James, like if you look at this offseason, like this offseason was just like so weird because you had so many staple of like former like players that are staple of their teams move elsewhere. I mean, you had Gino going to the Raiders, you had Tyler
Hmm.
Lockett, DK Metcalf moving on, like you had Debo Samuel leave the 49ers. I mean, it's just gonna be weird seeing a lot of these players in different uniforms. Taylor also says that Mac Jones, he believes, can definitely step up if Brock Purdy goes down. Taylor, to be honest, I'm kind of like iffy on Mac Jones. I mean, I think that with Mac Jones, I don't think it was his fault why he struggled a lot. I think it was because, like, dude, Belichick had Matt freaking Patricia as his offensive coordinator at one point, and Matt Patricia can't even coordinate defense. How is he going to coordinate offense? And he had Joe Judge as his freaking offensive coordinator. So obviously, you're going to derail any young quarterback's confidence for sure. And then I think after that, they've tried Bill O'Brien, and Bill O'Brien is not, a whiz kid offensive mind like he used to be back in the day. So I think him going to San Francisco, I think will help his confidence, but I don't know if Purdy goes down. I don't know if he will uh, be good. Stephen Wang tunes in. Haven't had him in forever. He says his AFC West winner is the Chiefs and NFC West winner, James. Look, he agrees with me. The San Francisco 49ers. Bravo. Great pick. You have no comment.
Whatever happens, happens.
Taylor says that Trey Lance was a bust. I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah, we never really got to see him. Like that one game against the Niners when Jimmy G didn't was not wanted. All of a sudden, Lance gets hurt, and then Jimmy G comes in and saves the day, and then Purdy takes the spot. Yeah, it's just been crazy. I'd imagine.
Yep. And then Nathaniel McWorth says that Brian Robinson can't do special teams. That's why he was let go from Washington. Um,
That's crazy to think. If
yeah.
that's the reason why, that's not a good reason why. It's just that can't be.
Hey, the guy still ran for over 1,000 yards last
Yeah,
season,
there's no
eight
reason to
eight
trade him
touchdowns,
for a six rounder and
a six
just
rounder.
do
Yeah.
the 49ers a damn favor. That's awful.
Also, also I think Taylor has the Niners at number 1, Cardinals at number 2, Rams at number 3, Seahawks at 4. Taylor also says that holdouts while negotiating a new contract can work in the end like it does in hockey. And then Nathaniel also says that he's got the Rams winning the division with the Seahawks at number 2, Cardinals at number 3, and the Niners at number 4.
I
Wow.
like
So
I like that. I like that just for the first and the last place. I like that prediction right there.
that's because didn't you basically copy your predictions with that? Oh no, you had the Cardinals in last. You didn't have the
Mm-hmm.
Niners in last. That's right. That's right.
But I'm not gonna be like biased. I have to be truthful with what I think and not
Hey,
be like, oh, because I hate the 49ers, I gotta put them in last.
hey, I'm
I'm not
not
gonna do
biased with
that.
my pick. I'm not biased with my Niners winning the NFC West pick. But let's go to the AFC West because a lot of our people are commenting about the AFC West. But yeah, let's give our AFC West prediction.
Ooh, I think it's obvious where we have to start with the hat that I'm wearing. Las Vegas Raiders off season has been here and there when you think about it, and still going on, by the way. They decided to go a different way with quarterbacks. Geno Smith is now the starting quarterback for the Raiders. Yikes. Oh, yeah, and then they doubled down this week and they traded for Kenny Pickett. Jeez. I hate my. Ugh. I shouldn't even be doing
Don't
this
forget
right now,
about
right?
Jamal Adams too.
Well, I'm going by position, but yeah, Kenny Pickett there as the backup to Geno Smith. They got rid of Miller, Sean Miller, I think that was the North Dakota State draftee late in the draft. Speaking of draft, they drafted I think at number 8, and they got uh, Ashawn Ashawn Jeanty as a running back, the great one out of Boise State. He had a rough first preseason game. I think he ran for -3 yards or whatever, and then the 49er game he was a little hesitant, and then he was running well. So it'd be interesting to see how much he has to carry the load, literally, for the Raiders. Raheem Mostert, which I love, but I wish we got him maybe like 3 years ago. Zamir White will be the backup, but it felt like he was supposed to be the guy last year, and it never happened for White and the Raiders in the backfield. The receiving room. Ugh. Jacoby Myers is wanting a trade out of there. He was going to be the number 1 guy, I felt like, but maybe, like we talked pre-show, he wasn't getting the reps or wasn't getting the ball from Geno Smith, and he's frustrated. Amari Cooper was signed, I believe, yesterday by the Raiders. He'll be back. He can't have number 89 because somebody else has that. You have Trey Tucker, Jack Beck, and then Deontay Thornton Jr. Their receiving room that's just kind of pitiful. But Brock Bowers is going to be the main guy that Geno will throw to. He can do pretty much anything. Get up and get the ball. He's going to be awesome. Backed up by Michael Mayer, who will eventually, I think, get traded. We'll see what happens there. The offensive line, is just can be really, really bad at times. It's anchored by Colton Miller, but there's just a lot of young guys there and a lot of guys that just tried other places and weren't proven. The defense is led by Max Crosby, of course, and he's awesome. He's motivated by everything, and he needs a lot of help. And Malcolm Kuntz coming back. I think he got hurt in training camp last year, and it was good to see him coming back with the Raiders this year. Tyree Wilson, we're waiting for him to make that next step for the Raiders. Remember, he was drafted 2 years ago, first pick, and everybody's like, the hell? He wasn't even supposed to go that high, or maybe not even in the first round, and he got there. Maybe Adam Butler can make a run this year to do well up front, along with Charles Snowden. But the linebacking core is anchored now by Devin White, the veteran out of used to be with the Buccaneers. Already his 7th year, but it feels like a little more. Jamal Adams going from a corner safety to linebacker for the Raiders for new head coach Pete Carroll. Jeez. The secondary is pretty young. Eric Stokes, Jeremy Chin, Isaiah Polomayo, Eric, like I mentioned, Eric Stokes. They got some very, very hard players to figure out for the secondary. Special teams will not have a problem with Daniel Carlson and AJ Cole. Never realized how tall Carlson was, 6'5", and Cole 6'4". The best part about the Raiders again is their special teams. But even with all the hoorah about you know uh, Pete Carroll being there and the first year with some former Seahawks, I still don't think this team made the big enough moves to really improve the team, and just feels like they're going to be in last place. They were 4-13 last year. It feels like they're going to be maybe about the same or a little bit more. I think the ceiling will probably be 6 wins for the Raiders this year. Sadly, I just don't see anything happening better than that. Now, here's where it gets interesting with the rest of the AFC West. My God. Third place, I'm going to go with the Chargers. Justin Herbert, he's there, of course, and we all know if he gets the protection, if he has the weapons, he's going to be a guy that will be throwing up some great numbers. But he has Trey Lance as his backup. Surprisingly, they got rid of they cut DJ Ugalale, that old quarterback.
Ukula, I don't know.
Yeah, but he's gone. I thought he was going to be the third back or the third stringer, but nope. The running back room. Someone's missing a part of an eye. Najee Harris lied about getting an eye injury on July 4th. Came to camp, and he still hasn't really practiced. He's doing little running drills by himself. Something tells me he's not even going to be ready to go. So Amarion Hampton, the rookie out of North Carolina, will be their starting running back to me, and then Haskins will be the backup there out of Michigan. So Jim Harbaugh knows who that is. Hampton, man, he's gonna be so important. J.K. Dobbins was, and he's gonna be just as important to no, not J.K. Dobbins, the other running back they had last year to Denver though. He went there. Their receiving room is kind of hit and miss. Ladd McConkey had a great rookie year. He kind of reminded me of Hunter Renfrow a little bit with the Raiders back in the day, making those great clutch catches, especially in the third down. Quentin Johnson, this is like a make it or break it year to me. Last year he dropped balls at first, but then he had a good last part of the season. Trey Harris is there. Keenan Allen back with the Chargers after 1 year with the Chicago Bears. This is his 13th year. We'll see if he's healthy throughout the year. If not, he's going to eventually have to retire. So look out for Ladd McConkey there. I think he was number 100 out of the NFL Network's top 100. I think it was 100. Their tight end room is kind of interesting because you got Tyler Conklin, who is out of the tri-state area, and he was with the Jets for a couple of years. Will Dissly, the former Seahawk, and then Tucker Fisk will be the third backup. And Aronde Gadsden, the second. I remember his father was a great receiver with Miami back in the day. Their offensive line is a real question mark. And again, I talked about that with Justin Herbert. Okay, so Rashawn Slater gets hurt in training camp after signing his big deal, and he's out for the whole season. I mean, it was just awful a couple of weeks ago to hear that news. So now they have Joe Alt having to go back to left tackle, and he's not as good there. He was good at right tackle. But Trey Pipkins will be that, I believe, the right tackle there now. They have Mekhi Becton. Remember, he won a championship last year with Miami. I'm sorry, with Philadelphia. But he was with the Jets, and he wasn't as good. He's got a question mark on him because he hasn't done well in training camp there. That was going to be the big anchor for the Chargers, but he's going back to his Jets days where he's not really focused. Andre James, a former Raider, will be the center there as well. The defense, though, you have Khalil Mack's still there after all these years. He re-upped with the Chargers, 1-year deal. Denzel Perryman still there. He was with the San Diego Chargers too back in the day. So him and Keenan Allen are back with them. But they also have a young defense too. Bud Dupree, the former Steeler. And then their secondary is still pretty good with Derwin James Jr., uh, Aloy Gilman. He's one guy, a safety as well, that will make some great plays in that secondary. Uh, Kicking game is pretty good with Cameron Dicker, the kicker. He's really good. So the Chargers, though, but I think injuries and the way that they lose games, they always do that, that's going to really affect them, and that's why I think they're going to be in third, plus the division is going to be very tough. Second place. No, I'm not going to do it. The Denver Broncos, I see getting second place, and they get a wild card spot. Bo Nix. It's going to be interesting to see how he does in his sophomore year. He's got some weapons there that you could throw the ball to, and you hope that he can only continue to go higher if you're a Bronco fan. Stidham will back him up. Yeah, J.K. Dobbins might want to stick it to the Chargers, and now that he's a Bronco there. And it's weird seeing Javonte Williams not on the roster anymore. I forget where he went, but now he's somewhere else. So Dobbins is kind of anchoring that running back room. But Cortland Sutton, who's been there through hell and back, he's still there. I think they re-upped with him as well. But Marvin Mims Jr. is there. The tight end is Evan Ingram. He can be really good if he doesn't drop balls. That's the one thing. The offensive line is pretty solid. McKinkley, who you knew from the Niners, Ben Powers, the center, Trotman, Alex Forsyth. All these guys are really good there. The defense, though, this is the main point about the Denver Broncos and why I believe they're going to be even better this year. Zach Allen, who got an extension. He's awesome. He reminds me of a lesser Max Crosby in a way. He really does. And thank you, Nathaniel. Javonte Williams ended up on Dallas and will be relied on, but we'll see if he's healthy. And also he has a fumbling problem as well. But Allen, John Franklin Myers is there. Azarahi is there. Azaruku. Nick Bonito, the linebacker, going into his fourth year. He had a great year last season anchoring that linebacking core. Dre Greenlaw, which is weird seeing him out of the Niners and onto the Broncos. That's crazy to me, but that can only help him as well as with Alex Singleton and Justin Stranad there. In the secondary, you got Pat PS2, Pat Certain II. He is amazing. He makes plays happen. Hufanga, remember, came from the Niners. He's going to be relied on to make some hits there. PJ Locke as well. So their defense is solid. And this team is solid enough in maybe an AFC that's questionable to be even a little better this year. And of course, first place, damn it, Kansas City Chiefs. Didn't really lose much this year. Actually, I think Travis Kelce gained another ring, or going to, I guess, with Taylor Swift, if you care about that. But Patrick Mahomes is still there. You have Minshew just in case. You got Kareem Hunt backing up Isaiah Pacheco. He's my favorite Isaiah, maybe of all time. Pacheco just runs the ball, so I was hoping you would get that. Yeah, this dude, ever since he came out of Rutgers, and it started from that first preseason, this dude's been running so well and so hard. He ran this year hard in preseason in that last game. It's like, save it for the damn for the regular season, but he goes. He just goes. Elijah Mitchell will be the third backup there, the former Niner, I believe. And then the receiving room: Juju Smith-Schuster, Xavier Worthy, I'm sorry, Rasheed Rice, although he will miss the first 6 games because of his friends doing a little hit and run in Texas. Hollywood Brown will be the receiver. Remember, they lost him pretty much all of last year, and who knows what they could have been with him. And I think this year we'll find that out. Of course, you have the tight end room with Kelsey, Noah Gray. Just they're going to be good. Creed Humphrey, maybe the second best center, maybe in the NFL. It's going to be good. Trey Smith, Josh Simmons, Juwan Taylor. They're going to be solid on the offensive line front. Defense, it starts with the defensive end, Karlaftis, Chris Jones, Alaminihino, uh, Jared Tilley, who has pretty much played with every team in the AFC West, it feels like. He ends up on the Chiefs. Nick Bolton's really good. Traquell is really good as a linebacker. But the corners, Fulton, McDuffie, Watson, they're all going to be really good. And maybe Jalen Hicks puts his imprint on the league this year. Harrison Butker's still a great kicker. Ariza, who I'm looking for to have a great year after being exonerated. Matt Ariza's really good punter, like I mentioned. Not really much on the injury front to be worried about. It's just the suspension of Rasheed Rice. That's going to be maybe a problem, but Hollywood Brown's going to solve that. So Chiefs, I think they will still be super. I think they'll go to the Super Bowl. It just depends who they're going to play. So that's my look at the AFC West, Isaiah. I don't know if you want to read some comments first before you get to yours, or however you want to do.
Yeah, I'll go through mines first before I get into the comments because I think I'm about to shock all of you guys. But James, this is going to be an absolute bloodbath of the division, not just the quarterbacks, but the coaches in this division. I
Yeah, I
mean,
forgot to mention that.
you have Andy Reid, you have Jim Harbaugh, you have Sean Payton, and you have Pete Carroll, coaches that have won either national titles in college or coaches that have won Super Bowls and been to Super Bowls. So it's going to be a lot of great chess matches week in and week out in this division. I mean, the matchups: Andy Reid versus Sean Payton, Andy Reid versus Jim Harbaugh versus Pete Carroll. I mean, it's going to be a fun division to watch. It's going to be a bloodbath for sure. But starting at number 4, I got to agree with you. The Raiders. I think the Raiders, Pete Carroll, his last few years in Seattle wasn't that great. Was it because he didn't have enough talent, or was it because he lost his way when it comes to coaching? We'll find out. He put together a really good staff with Patrick Graham coming back to be the defensive coordinator. You have Chip Kelly now, the offensive coordinator for the Raiders. And, Chip's not running that high speed, no huddle Oregon offense. He's running a pro style offense now, but he's still a really good play caller. Geno Smith. Let's start with the quarterback. Gosh, Geno Smith, James. I just think that he was when you ask people in the NFC West, why did the Seahawks not contend? It wasn't because of their defense. It wasn't because of their playmakers. They were held back by their quarterback, Geno Smith. And so when you guys got Geno Smith, I was like, why did Tom Brady have to go get Geno Smith? It made no sense. Like, you're basically like going from a bad quarterback situation to upgrading it by very little, but that's it. Like, why don't you go get one in the draft? It made no sense whatsoever.
Shedeur Sanders is still there. Never mind.
Shedeur is there.
Jackson Dart is right there. Never mind.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
But Gino, I think, look, he's gonna, I guess, make the Raiders, I guess, maybe semi-competitive, but that's it.
Who you hope for?
Yeah, John T, the running back. Kind of nervous about him, James, just because he did all of his damage and dominance in the Mountain West Conference, and you know, and I know that the Mountain West is far less or is far inferior to all these other conferences like the pac like the ACC, the Big 12, the Big 10, SEC. So he didn't really run against like great competition. And when he finally did run against a Penn State, he was shut down for the most part. So I don't know how he's gonna do in the NFL. We'll see. A lot of people are saying he's the next Marshawn Lynch. Let's pipe down on that because like the guy did all of his dominance going up against UNLV and San Diego State and Utah State and Fresno State and Hawaii. Like, come on, man. Like, if you put pads on me, I could probably not run as good as Junty. But if I had Boise's offensive line going up against those teams, like, come on, man, it's not even going to be close. But so I am worried about Junty. The tight end Bowers is an absolute stud. I'll give you that. The wide receiver weapons, Jacoby Myers is your number one, I think, but he apparently wants a trade. So I don't know how that's going to work out with you guys. The offensive line, I think, is decent. It's not the best, but it's not bad. The Raider defense, Max Crosby is a superstar. You have you have Tyree Wilson, who's actually had a renaissance of a training camp. He maybe is going to become from a bust to decent player. Who knows? But the rest of the defense, I don't really know how it's going to be because you have a bunch of guys that are a bunch of like veterans that were just like cut from the previous squad. The linebacker, I'm forgetting his name. He was from the Giants. James, if who's that middle linebacker for the Raiders? Oh shoot.
Devin
But
White.
well, Devin White, he was discarded.
Oh,
There was another guy too. I was watching the Raiders. The
Elon
Raiders.
Elon Roberts.
That's the guy, Elan
Yeah,
Roberts. Yes.
he's gonna be he's a 10-year veteran out of Houston. He can always do so much though.
Yeah, but he's never been like that, like stand out. To be honest, he's been like an okay player, but um, he's gonna be manning the middle of that defense. And then how about our favorite guy, Jamal Adams? He's gonna not be used as a safety. He's gonna be used as a linebacker to get after the quarterback. Which honestly, I do like that move, James, because when he was a safety, his best course of action was getting after the quarterback. So like now you're deploying him in a role where he's actually successful. He's not going to be in coverage or having to man the middle of the field. Like I think that's actually a solid move for the Raiders. I just think for the Raiders, quarterback's an issue. The running back, we'll see how he is. I'm not really a big fan of his because I think he did most of his dominance against the Mountain West. And then when he played against an actual defense, he was shut down. The weapons are subpar. I think the Raiders are going to have a tough year. I think that I got the Raiders at like 5 or 6 wins. I don't think it's going to be that much. They're still in a rebuild, so I got them in last. Uh, Third place, and this is where the shocking comes in. I think the third place for the AFC West is the Kansas City Chiefs. And the reason why is because, yes, you have Patrick Mahomes, but Patrick Mahomes struggled last season. The offensive line, which was not that great, Mahomes was running for his life majority of the time last season. It got even worse. Joe Thuney is now in Cincinnati. You have Jawan Taylor, the guy that led the NFL in terms of offensive linemen getting flags. I believe he's your left tackle or guard. You didn't really do much to improve your offensive line. You signed Jalen Moore from the Niners, who was the backup offensive lineman for the Niners, but he's not really been that great for the Niners. So I didn't really like that move for the Chiefs. The weapons, right? You have Rasheed Rice there. You have Rasheed Rice there. Travis Kelce is always going to be a stud at tight end. You haven't seen any drop off from him, so tight end, they're always going to have a stud tight end there. You got for your receivers, right? I don't really like you. Xavier Worthy disappointed. He was always hurt last season. They didn't really add much in terms of the wide receiver weapons. I think they're most. Yeah, they didn't really add any wide receiver weapon. So you have, you got Worthy there. You got is DeAndre Hopkins is no longer there. I don't think, right? Or is
No,
he
no,
still there?
he. Oh God, I don't know where he is. Let me look that
I
up.
don't. I
You
don't
have
think.
wait. You have the Chiefs at third.
I got the Chiefs at third. Yeah,
That's
I think. I
crazy.
think they're. I think they're. Look, when you have a great quarterback like Mahomes, that's great and all, but the rest of the team is not that great. The offensive line is not that great. The running game is decent. Like Andy Reid and Mahomes can only do so much. And thanks, Nate. D Hop is a Raven. That's right. D Hop is a
That's
Raven.
right.
they don't they don't have a receiver that really scares you. Mahomes can just do so much, and then you look at the defense. Chris Jones is there. They have a really stout defense, but I think they're going to have trouble scoring, to be honest, this season. And with that bloodbath of a division with Bo Nix, with Jim Harbaugh, the Raiders, I think will be pretty competitive. I got the Chiefs at third. And I honestly, James, I won't be shocked though if like they go out and try to go get a number one receiver to try to pair with Mahomes because the weapons just don't scare me. But I got the Chiefs at third. Number two on my list, James, I'm going with Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers. I think that they were in a lot of games last season. They just couldn't finish a lot of their games. Justin Herbert is a superstar. They did upgrade the running backs with Najee Harris there. I know he's got that eye problem, but when he comes back, I think that he's going to be a beast in Harbaugh's offense. Amari and Hampton was a beast at North Carolina. Harbaugh's going to try to run that football down people's throats like 30, 35 times. They have McConkey as their wide receiver there who had a really outstanding year. Their offensive line is going to be great this year. The defense, Khalil Mack, they kept him. Denzel Perryman, they kept him as well. The defense was pretty solid under Jesse Minter. So I do think the Chargers are going to take another step up this season. I think Herbert, another year in that offense, I think he's going to take another step up. And then number one, I'm going with the Denver Broncos. Give me those galloping
Wow.
horses, James. I'm buying into the stock of Bo Nix. I'm buying into the stock of Sean Payton. The defense was decent last year. Added Hufanga. They added Dre Greenlaw. They added some they added some like difference makers on that defense. They needed a ball hawking safety. They got that with Hufanga. I think Greenlaw still got a lot left in the tank. I think he's going to really help their middle of their defense. And then you talk about their offense. I mean, their offense, they did a lot in the beginning of the year with the defense, but they turned it on strong on offense late in the season. And I think it's going to continue. Bo Nix, the guy is a great runner. The guy surprised me a lot last season with his passing abilities. The offensive line held up for majority of the year. You look at the wide receivers. Cortland Sutton was barely involved for much of the season, and he still had a pretty solid season. So I think in another year in that offense, I think will help.
Dude, Marvin Mims
Mark,
Jr.
yeah,
This
Mark.
dude, he's gonna have a breakout year. I'm gonna say.
Oh, I agree with you. I think that it's just a matter of time until he has a breakout year. And they have this kid that I'm really intrigued by, James. His Franklin, who was Bo Nix's teammate at Oregon. They picked him out of Oregon. He was barely used last year, but he's super fast. He's super athletic. He's a guy that can make people miss after the catch. So I think that he is a guy that is going to have is going to shock a lot of people. And I mean, Sean Payton's a damn good offensive coach. And I think that, you put him there with the weapons, with Bo Nix, the Chiefs' lack of weapons. I know they have Mahomes, but I think that, they're going to have a Super Bowl hangover. You got the Chargers that, are there, but, we don't really know much about, like, I think their defense is going to be solid, but that receiver wise, they need that break. They need I feel like another number one receiver outside of McConkey. The Raiders are going to be competitive, but they're not really going to
Well,
win a lot. I think this division, I think everybody is separated by just one game. Like, I think everybody is separated by not one game, but I think the Chiefs, the Chargers, and the Broncos are just going to be either tied or separated by one game. That's how close this division is going to be.
God, we're gonna be separate on that for sure. Uh, yeah, like I said, both divisions are gonna be very questionable, and then they have a lot of questions. You want to read the comments before we get out of here?
Yeah, we had a lot of comments. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. We had, I think, over 40 comments. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to this double day AFC West, NFC West divisional preview. Taylor asked, do the Niners still have Joey Bosa? It's actually flip. We have Nick. The Chargers have Joey. Or actually,
No, he went to Buffalo for 1 year, 13 mil.
that's right. Can you hear me, by the way?
Huh? Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. I don't know if he can hear me. Okay, Isaiah's having some tech issues, but he should be gonna get that situated. I'm gonna try to read the comments from the little um post I have. Okay. I'll just read them from my YouTube here. But yeah, let me get to the
You
comments.
hear me?
Obviously, yeah, I hear you now.
Okay, cool.
Do
Did
I
you hear
hear
me
you?
before, or was I like kind of out?
Yeah, I heard you. I heard you.
Okay, I think I lost my connection to my headphone for a little bit, but
Go ahead,
yeah.
read the comments because I don't see it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Let me see. So we were at the. Oh, so Joey Bosa went to the. I think he went to the Bills, right? He went to the
Yeah, he went
Bills.
to the Bills just a 1 year, $13 million deal. It'll be
That's
interesting to
right.
see if he's healthy or not. I'm trying to remember the StreamYard to see like the comments, but I don't see it at all.
Oh, you
But
don't
I could
see it really?
no, like I don't see him where I can read them, where I can go back and read them.
Oh, okay. Well, go to the comments section of it.
Oh, the actual picture.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh shit. Let me see.
So Nathaniel
Oh, okay, I
says,
got it. Oh no, wait. No,
okay,
that's our studio chat, right?
I think, well, yeah, it's studio chat. And I think there is another like comments area.
Regular comments there, but it's the studio chat. This is weird.
Oh, that's weird. But
Just put it up and I'll read it, I guess.
okay, I'll put it up.
All right, so Nathaniel mentions his AFC West prediction will be the Chargers, and that's if everything goes right, in my opinion. What you think?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the Chargers will be in the mix, but I think just I don't know. Like I something with the Chargers, they always seem to choke close games.
Well, let
So
me say this too, because they already are without Rashawn Slater, so that really, really
that's
hurts
right.
them
That's a
right
big
there.
blow.
Taylor for him, he says Chargers, Chiefs, Broncos, Raiders.
Wow, a lot
Again,
of
if
people
the
buying into
Charge,
the a lot of
I
people
hope
buying into
not.
that Chargers hype.
Don't do that. Next
Let's
is Nathaniel says he's a Broncos fan. I have the Chargers winning division, but I think Denver is the best team defensively. Oh yeah, way better than the Chargers, I would say.
okay, this is from Steven, I think.
MI6, hey James, at least you aren't a Vikings or Browns fan. My Vikings just added Carson Wentz, yikes. And the Browns signed your favorite Isaiah Bailey Zappi
Yeah, Bailey
despite having three
Zappi.
other quarterbacks. The Browns just won competition around Shadur Sanders. By the way, that was fun watching Shadur Sanders play along with Dylan Gabriel in the preseason. Remember, I said that was the team I was going to look out for preseason, and it was a lot of fun. But there's a whole season to go with Flacco.
Well, we'll see how much Flacco lasts because I could see a situation where Flacco is benched or he has
No
this
doubt.
bad. Then you have Gabriel, and then Gabriel sucks, and then Shador, and then Shador sucks. They go back to Flacco, or who knows? They might go to Zappy at one point. So
No.
it's going to be quarterback musical chairs there in Cleveland. But
Okay, Nathaniel says running backs are a dime a dozen. Tyler Aguilar also had 1,000-yard season with the Falcons last year, or the year before Bijan Robinson came referring back to your Brian Robinson take. Okay, yeah, it's just confusing again. They're gonna have younger running backs. Running backs are always replaceable unless they're MVP like.
But see, that's the problem. I don't like what I don't like about what the Commanders did is literally you have a guy that's proven, and now you're going to rely on this Crockett Merritt kid who's had a really good preseason, but he's not proven, and that's the one area of concern I have is
And
like
then Isaiah to do the 49ers a damn favor when they don't need one
but
in
you know
your
why though, right?
conference
You know
to
why
do
they
that.
did it though, right? Because their GM Adam Peters literally was in the 49ers front office.
Yikes. I hate
uh
favors.
Let's see. Let's see. Taylor. Or I think we have a bunch more comments actually. Let's see. We have right here from Nate.
He says, my floor for the Raiders is 8 wins, and I still have them last. By the way, I feel exact way about the Niners. Yeah, again, this division has a lot of question marks.
Nate,
These divisions.
8 wins for the Raiders
That's
might
a
be a little
stretch
bit
for the
high.
Raiders. Again, I'm thinking 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Taylor says, Bo Nix trading card values are decent too. I haven't looked.
Hey, whoever collects trading cards, you might want to get on that.
Get a college one.
Yeah, true.
Nathaniel says, yeah, Chargers, Chiefs, Broncos, Raiders for his division prediction. Sure. Nathaniel also says, I think it made a lot of sense. This quarterback class isn't really that great. Next year will be better. I think they will draft a quarterback and learn behind Geno.
That's the Raiders.
They should have did that the last 2 years is draft a young quarterback. They could have had Bo Nix.
Yeah.
They could have had
didn't
Shadur
Denver
Sanders.
steal Bo Nix? Didn't Denver steal Bo Nix?
Yeah, a pick right before the Raiders.
Do you really
I'll
think
never forget it.
Do you think Bo Nix really would have been the pick though? That if he dropped?
Yeah, because they were going to get a quarterback, but the only thing is Bo Nix wouldn't have thrived as much as he did with Sean Payton leading the way with Denver. It's all about where you go and who's coaching you.
You know, I'll tell you this though, James. You know what really screwed you though? It wasn't Denver picking Bo Nix. It was Atlanta stunning the world and taking Michael Penix
Jr.
But
look how that worked out.
Yeah. And then I guess this is regarding my take in terms of, or actually, this is a question for you, James. Let's see, right over here.
I have an answer. Taylor says, I forget what number Max Crosby wears. 98. Yeah, it's not 87.
Oh, he's 98. Okay. And then I think this is referring to my take about the Chiefs. Okay. That doesn't shock me. But yeah, those are our comments. Appreciate everybody.
That shocks me. I think you're gonna regret. You always have some crazy, outlandish takes, and I think that's awful. Pat Mahomes would have to get hurt if that was going to be the case.
Well, I don't think he's going to get hurt, but I just think the division is just more competitive than it was before, and
But not to overtake the kingdom, though.
I mean, I think the Broncos and the Chargers could.
As much as I hate all three, I don't see that happening.
But I think it's going to be like, I think this division, though, is going to be like the AL East in baseball, where it's just like super close, where it's going to be.
And then random, too.
Yeah.
With Boston and Toronto over New York right now, and Tampa falling and Baltimore falling. Okay, I won't be like you. I'm going to be opposite of you and not have my enemies of the division represented.
Why? You don't want to wear
awful.
Hey, I do have a Broncos.
No, but I don't have anything Broncos, Chargers, and Chiefs around me at all. Anything that, I burn it or I give it to someone I know. I will not have that in my house. Get out.
When we meet up where you are down there, I'm gonna give you.
Yeah, okay.
You can have a Herbert jersey.
No, sir. All right, I'll let you handle the outro. I'll give you my final thought real quick. Good to be here. Keep looking on for the preview. The division in 8 days. Plus, we did the college football. That was a little fun.
Last night,
just trying to figure out where people are going to be Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of college footballs here. That's tomorrow too. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Then the real Sundays come up, and then we'll all be going Thursday with the Cowboys and ring night for Philadelphia and Michael Parsons. We'll see day by day. We'll see where the soap opera goes.
Well, James, and that's the thing is like with Michael Parsons, shoot, I don't think he's even gonna be there for that day.
Oh yeah, it might be a thing where he's not in shape. He's not ready to
Oh,
playing shape. You know, he's in shape, but he's not in playing shape because he
oh
hasn't
yeah,
been.
yeah.
He's just been like holding pads and like making the players, hit the pad or whatever. He hasn't really been that, you know, into game mode. Let's just say, so that's a real possibility. He's not even playing. But anyway,
Can
the Cowboys might shock us, and he'll be signed tomorrow, and everything will be fine.
yeah, I mean,
Everything takes time.
I didn't expect Trey Hendrickson to get
Did you
signed.
hear the rumor though? He might be going to Green Bay.
Oh, I heard that from
Yeah.
by the
So
way,
that might be tomorrow or Friday.
if he
Michael
does.
Parsons might be paid and headed to Green Bay like Reggie White did.
And that would be absolutely insane because think about the Cowboys Packers rivalry. Like trading him to the Green Bay would be like trading him to San Francisco. Like
That's
it'd
your
be like
playoff
what?
rival too, which is horrible
Yeah, yeah,
in my
exactly.
opinion. All right, Isaiah, I'm gonna get out of here. Thank you
Hey,
for having me on.
before you get out, we do have some
Yes.
announcements though. Me and James, like we announced last
Oh
night,
yeah.
we're gonna be doing extra point every single Monday night after Monday Night Football. So when the buzzer sounds on Monday Night Football, the final buzzer, Joe and Troy are out of ESPN's studios or out of the stadium studios. We'll be there to join you guys, or we'll be here to
Mhm.
join you guys for that. So looking forward to that. I think our first game is what's the first Monday night game? I think it's your game, right?
September. What was it? 15th. I think it's a doubleheader, by the way. Yeah,
Oh
it's a
yeah.
doubleheader. I know the Raiders are hosting the Chargers. Before that, I can't tell you who it is, but it's probably a lame duck game. Remember last year though, we had Washington at Cincinnati, and Washington and Jalen Daniels just surprised the hell out of everyone. So maybe that'll happen with the Giants this year. Who knows?
Well, the Raiders one is actually the week after. So
Oh,
I
it's a week
first,
after. I'm sorry. I don't know.
yeah, the first Monday night football. Well, this year we have a Friday game, which is so weird.
Yeah,
Uh,
the it's I saw it yesterday, but there's always a Black Friday game now on Amazon.
well, no, week one we have a Friday game. Chiefs and
The
Chargers are
hell?
playing.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right,
they're
in Brazil. That's on
in
YouTube.
Brazil. Yep.
That's
And
right.
then, well, yeah, the week two we have two Monday night football games with Buccaneers, Texans, Chargers, and Raiders. And then
Okay, I'm watching both.
the first Monday night football game, which we'll be we'll be having extra point after, is Vikings and Bears, the debut of Ben
That's going to be
Johnson in Chicago.
interesting with JJ McCarthy. His first year starting was supposed to be
Yep.
last year. Justin Jefferson, we'll see if he's healthy coming out of the gate. Addison with his off the field issues, speeding in the car. Oh man, it's gonna be a lot of fun. We'll get to it.
I totally agree with you. And
All right.
James, you got it. You got any announcements
That's
before we
all.
gotta
I got
get out of
nothing. I
here?
got nothing except the extra point. We'll be on that. What day did you say will be the premiere?
The first show will be September the 8th after Monday Night Football. So probably around like maybe like 9:30 p.m. or
Yeah, just like
9 p.m.
tonight.
afterwards. Yeah, yeah.
I'll see you then. I'll see everybody then.
Yep, we'll see you guys then. And everybody have a great night. Appreciate everybody for tuning in on this double day. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you. Well, we'll see you for the next 8 divisions in 8 days. It's going to be the NFC East, which we'll be breaking that down coming up, I believe, in a couple of days from now. But until then, guys, stay safe, stay healthy, and we will see you guys then. Have a great night, everybody.